Welcome to the podcast. My name is Garrett. This is Seth. This is Frazier Media Company. And what we do is we're going to answer a common question. Seth, what kind of common question do we have about media or marketing today?
The question of the day is, how do I build authority without posting online every day?
Wow, that's going to be really tough. I think that you can walk from business to business and build authority that way. And you can literally do your podcasting in these businesses. That's one way to do it without posting daily. On the other hand, if you don't want to do live action role play in front of people at their businesses and like do actual door knocking to promote your business, then I would say just post online, right? It doesn't have to be every day. How often do you think that it should be? Maybe 2 or 3 times a week at least?
As long as you're consistent, right? Yeah. I feel like even if it's once a week, which we strongly suggest more, but even if you're going to just do once a week, make sure it's the same time, the same day, every single week. Consistency. Show up at the same time in the same place. The more the better. Now, we want to get to daily. You know that. You want to be showing up daily. But if you can't, slowly work your way up there and commit to something that you can commit to. But just make sure what you commit to, you stick to from there on out.
Okay, so as long as you're making something that you can actually keep up with, it's not going to really stress you out, that you can keep up with the workflow and the workload, then that's kind of like a good starting point, right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to overwork yourself. It's kind of like New Year's resolutions. People go really hard at the beginning of the year, eating super clean, and then by the end of January or mid-February, then they really just totally fall off.
Spin out.
Right? They totally fall off, and then they're back to their old ways. They're back gaining weight just because they weren't able to keep up with what they set themselves up to.
100%.
Right?
Realistic goals. Right?
That being said, the reason why we steer people away from doing only once a week is that you're going to fall out of the practice, you're going to fall out of the workflow, and it's going to ultimately take you longer to make each piece of content because it's not second nature to you. You don't have that muscle memory built up that you can build up really quickly if you're just being consistent and batching together content.
100%.
Right?
It goes with what you're saying. If you're going to put something out once a week, you're going to put out 52 pieces of content or 52 stories a year. We can speed up time traveling exists by doing that daily. And in 52 days, we're achieving the same progress online that somebody that's been posting for 52 weeks has.
Yeah.
Right? So
that's a fact.
You don't want to overwhelm yourself, but know that the more the better, right? And then we know the next step is twice a day, then 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And we're getting crazy there.
Now you get crazy at that point. That's whenever you absolutely have to have either 1 or 2 an in-house team or outsource a lot of the workflow or workload that you're trying to keep up with a lot of this, because it can be a lot to actually take on.
It is. We don't have to sugarcoat that. It's a lot to take on.
It is. We even, especially at the beginning, while you're fulfilling for other people all of their content, it's really tough to actually do your own content.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting paid for it. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you don't have all the systems set in place. So it's really you putting in the work between, you do work for other people for 9 to 5, but then it's the 5 to 9 that really works for your own business.
100%.
And your own interest. So 9 to 5, that's whenever you're putting bread on the table, but then the 5 to 9 is where you get ahead of all the competition and everyone else in your space, or build your own brand and develop your own skills.
All the same systems you're implementing for your clients, right?
That's a fact.
But you can't do it at 9 to 5.
On a like looping back to the why we don't want to post once a week, before I lose this thought in my mind. So a reason why you don't want to post once a week is because, and Caleb Ralston says this great, like go ahead and check out his channel if you like any of this information. But Caleb Ralston says it perfectly, and I agree with it 100%, is that whenever you're first starting to post is you don't know what your audience values, right? You want to put out valuable content, but you don't know what they value yet. You have an idea, you have a couple of ideas. You have a lot of different ideas of what they might like and what they might value. However, you have to kind of create a lot of content so that you have a test sample, right? And so if you're doing that once a week, it's gonna take you a long time to get 50 pieces of content to see which ones hit and which don't. That's a good solid piece of like measurable, that's a good, what did you call that? Like a measurable content size? No. That's a good test.
Good test subject, a good case study, right?
It's a good case study to have probably 50 pieces of content, at least 30, right? That's 1 month. You can commit to 1 month of making daily content, and then you see what subjects and what style of production people prefer to watch for a long time, or what your retention on is it, or sorry, let me backspace a little bit on what your retention on that media, how long they're actually like staying on the media before they swipe off. All right, so in making more content in a short window of time, then you get a better test sample between all of that content, so then you know what to lean more into and what to do less of, because if it's not moving your needle, then you'd rather just not do it.
Don't do it at all.
So this is how you get a good like test sample of what you're actually gonna be making more of. You don't want it to be the only thing that you're making more of, but once you find that subject that people like, then you make that your bulk. I would say probably 80% of your content would be like that, because it's reaching the right audience and it's telling the right story. 80% is that, and then 20% is experimental.
Makes sense.
That way you can have fun with it. You can try some new things. You can try like trendy topics.
Mm-hmm. Try something you thought was going to work that didn't work initially, right?
Exactly. You can repost something that didn't do so great, but you had really good faith in it whenever you first started, and you just had to give it enough time to actually catch on to the right audience.
100%. Man, like you're saying, in the beginning, everything you put out's a test.
It is.
And you find it's clear when you look at the data and you look at, you know, what caught on, what got comments, what got interaction, what got watch duration, because that's the biggest thing. And then you look at that and you see there's going to be some standalone outliers. And when those stand out, I think what you're saying is 80% of your content should be structured like that now, but keep testing like you were with the 100% before with the remaining 20. Keep testing, keep testing, keep testing. So it gives you a solid structure, and I think you would agree. Content creation and, you know, storytelling begins to get a lot easier once you understand who you're serving and what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Right? It is. You find your ideal avatar, what they value, what type of structure they prefer to digest that info through, whether it's podcast style, whether it's long form, whether it's short form, whether it's with a strong hook or whether it's no hook at all and just purely value starting beginning to end. Or if they like it on like daily catch-ups, whether it's at the end of the day, you're just ranting to the phone a little bit, just catching them up on what you did that day. You'll learn a lot from that, and you'll learn a lot from reflecting on the analytics. Currently, we have a client, Michael Gutschmidt. I just took some screenshots of his analytics today, and he's been posting for over a year now with his other agency. And I did one shoot with him, 1 day shoot. He's been shooting for months with this other agency and putting out the exact same content, not taking any risks. And then I go out to film with him 1 day because I know that our content does better because we have a bigger sample size than this other agency. I know exactly what the door-to-door community wants, and this is one of those situations. It's a solar guy, and well, let's just say I made some content. It's like probably 10 pieces of content, and I gave them to him and I said, here, test it out, see how it goes. And everything is getting more than triple the viewership than his previous agency, just because I know what a good sample of what this niche wants, because we put in the reps throughout the years since 2022. And so we have a really good test sample of exactly what type of content hits off in these communities.
So you're telling me that people can bypass this testing period by hiring an agency that aligns with their end goal?
That is exactly what
That's what it sounds like happened with Mike.
It is a little bit of what's going on.
You invest in the right areas, you can buy that testing, right? That's all a good agency does, right? They've tested this across dozens of clients, dozens of regions, and they know what works. They have a sample size of data that one person probably can never achieve.
Exactly.
So you can buy that. So that's a good tip. We're talking about $10 here, guys. You can purchase whatever you want. It just might not be the price tag you like.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's really, would you rather, for example, so obviously we have 4 years more testing than this other agency, right?
Sure. Yeah.
That's why we're getting quadruple the results. In your opinion, would you pay double to get quadruple the results?
Oh, for sure.
Right off the bat?
Yeah, that's a good trade.
That's a pretty decent trade.
It's a good trade at paying 4 times for 4 times the results.
Exactly. And I know that he was hesitant on the price, so you know that how I'm going to pitch him next time whenever it's you.
Well, you know, he can't help a cheap ass, but
I'm going to say, hey, buddy.
I'm just thinking.
I know you like, I know that he has friends from this other agency or something like that. I can't exactly recall how he's connected to them, but I know that they're very cheap.
Just good price.
Like very cheap, yeah. And he's splitting it with a buddy of his. And but that's the conversation that I'm gonna have with him is, hey, I see, and I can see it without even having the back end analytics from his Instagram, but I see that he's getting more than quadruple the actual viewership. It's 4 to 5 times, if not more, the viewership.
So he's got 4 to 5 times the attention.
So at a price point of double the other agency, like that's how you get more, what do you call it? ROAS? ROAS?
If you spend twice as much and get 4 times results, that is leverage.
It's great for us, but then it's also great for the client.
It's great for
honestly speaking. And then we're able to take that extra capital that they're investing into our information, right? And then we can use that to double down on our processes to reinvest into their content and learn more through more information mining. Call it like information mining. We're like mining for information. And then we capture that information and then we dissect it so that it can tell us exactly where we should be putting our efforts, putting our money, and investing for your business as well as our business all at the same time. It's kind of like a bank.
Kind of like a bank.
Right?
It's just like a bank.
You put money in,
you get money out.
And whoever has the highest interest rates,
I call it a money machine.
It's a money
tornado printer, bro.
It's a money printer, baby.
You got a good money machine when you stick $1 in and you get more than $1 out.
$4 out. That's pretty solid.
You stick $1 in, you get $1 out. Or you stick $2 in, you get $4 out.
Is that how simple marketing is?
You get probably $6 or $8 out. But yeah, that's how simple marketing is.
Okay. Well, here's your marketing 101 class right here. I'm glad that you guys joined us. If you need more information like this, make sure that you like and subscribe. And otherwise, we'll see you on the next one.
Follow Mike Goochschmidt.
Oh.